you should probably expect spoilers.
It's that time of year where YouTubers want to do creepy shit because it's Halloween, and I figured why not review a character that I feel is particularly creepy. And that character is Tails Doll from a Sonic R. Now rumour has it that you can find Tails Doll in real life if you know where to look, which is why I've come to the Highlands in Scotland to see if I can find him. Because think about it, yeah, right, Tails Doll is based on Tails, and Tails wants to fly high, so I've come to the Highlands. I know what I'm doing, yeah? Shut up, bruv. I know what I'm doing.
You know, I always thought Q from Street Fighter was a difficult character to figure out. I mean, that dude literally had no backstory, but the one thing he did have going for him was a mysterious ending and some form of lore, therefore people could speculate and theorize the rest at the very least. But then I remembered Tails Doll, and I realised this character had even less info than Q. One game appearance, Sonic R 1997. A game with a flimsy storyline set up in which Eggman hosted a racing tournament to catch Sonic. That's it. There's no cutscenes in the game, so there's no story development, meaning Tails Doll was mostly introduced for the sole purpose of racing him around the track while listening to some fat Euro beats. Even SEGA themselves had very little to say about Tails Doll on their official website. When I ran his profile through a language translator, I was left feeling more confused than before I started. Like, what the fuck does this even mean? A proper translation of the text explains that Dr. Eggman created Tails Doll to catch Sonic off guard, hence the reason for the robot looking more like a harmless toy and less like a threatening robot.
And that is it. There is no other official information on this character, which is why the fans have been running rampant for these many years making memes and creepypastas, and that was a fucking moth, get away from me, bruv. Right? It's real out here. I'm still in the Highlands, as you can clearly tell. And that is it. There is no other official information on Tails Doll aside from that, which is why the fans make up memes and creepypastas because they're filling that void. So I'm going to take a leaf out of their book and join them in their theorizing. So I've got a theory for you right now. It's going to get pretty live up in here. Still in the Highlands right now. It's kind of getting kind of scary. There was a sheep over there a minute ago and I've never seen one before.
My creepy theory takes me back to Tails, the character that this robot is based on. Now, Tails is famous for being a flying fox. He wishes to fly high. Eggman recognized this trait, and just like he attempted to make Metal Sonic beat the regular Sonic in speed, Eggman sought to beat the regular Tails in flight. His robots are built with the highest level engines he can create, but they can only go so far, being limited to the hardware he installed in them. To build a robot that could surpass all limits and fly to the highest of heavens meant Eggman was going to have to think outside the box. Way outside the box. He went to sleep, he had a dream. A land full of floating windmills, Eggman danced amongst the morphing hills of this paradise, this heaven, the highest of heavens. During his time in this dreamscape, he caught sight of a being that could fly. This airborne character soared and looped through the skies and seemingly never needing rest. Eggman awoke the next day, hands sweaty, knees weak, arms heavy, creepypasta on his sweater already. He had to obtain that power from the being in his dream and apply it to the robot he intended to build. And that's where the occult came into play. He remembered he used to fuck around with Ouija boards when he was a kid, channeling the dead and talking to lost spirits and all that. He drank a bottle of whiskey, broke out the board, and channeled the shit out of it like he was trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. And he got in. There was a response, a reply from the other side. The dream world opened up, and there stood before him the Lord of Nightmares, Wise Man the Wicked. They spoke for a while, chatting breeze about their mutual interests in conquest and stuff like that, and it was during this moment that Eggman learned the flying creature he had seen previously was a nightmaren called Knights. Eggman asked Wiseman for Knights' power, and Wiseman was like, yeah, alright then. So he punched Knights in the face, gathered all of Knights' soul into the chest crystal, and ripped it from Knights' body before giving it to Eggman. And there it was, in his hands, the power of unaided and unlimited flight. He closed the portal and returned to his lab. As he entered, he could have sworn he heard a cry coming from the crystal, but then presumed that maybe he was just still coming off of the whiskey he had drowned himself in earlier. He took the crystal over to the lifeless body of his creation, a stuffed cuddly toy in the likeness of Tails, and shoved the crystal on top of it. His creation came to life, floating around the room in perfect rectangle flight paths because I can't be bothered to edit him flying around in tidy circles. For about 3 hours, Tails doll flew around the room while Eggman wiped beautiful sparkling tears from his own eyes. This was his greatest creation. But then, he heard a cry again, similar to the one he thought he had heard earlier. And then another. And then another. The Tails doll fell out of the air and landed on the floor, the red crystal above him flashing violently. Oi, you bloody prick! Put my soul back into my body or I will fuck you up, mate! It was Knights' soul trying to escape. Eggman peed himself a little and then decided to rush things along, so he hosted a Grand Prix tournament the very next day, inviting all his enemies to come and have a jolly good time. The race began fairly straightforward until Tails doll started acting up again, the soul of Knights conflicting with the stuffed toy body. To Eggman's sheer horror, Tails doll could no longer fly properly. It just sort of floated around, occasionally lifting up into the air for a bit before dropping back down. Furious, Eggman vowed to beat Tails doll in races, but Knuckles decided to race Tails doll instead because I was playing as Knuckles when I captured this footage. Knuckles had won. Tails doll's body lifelessly fell to the floor like some invisible strings had been cut from him, and Eggman presumed it was over. But it wasn't. Tails doll got back up again and corrupted the whole world. Pixels and polygons glitching out of place, entire land masses spiraling upside your head. Eggman watched as Tails doll viciously assaulted the very fabric of reality. But Tails doll was a fair demonic antagonist and offered everybody a chance to fight for their lives by competing in more races. For everybody that failed to beat Tails doll would be consumed. For everybody that succeeded in beating Tails doll were allowed to live and were forced to partake in the next race and keep racing until they eventually lost. The police couldn't stop him. The military couldn't stop him. The Illuminati stepped in for a second to see how serious things were getting, but then they left to go and grab a coffee, and I think Big the Cat lost his frog again. It was complete and utter Armageddon. It's terrible. Really bad. You should have been there. You should have been there to see it for yourself. I tried calling your phone, yeah, but I had no battery. I had like bad reception because, you know, all the pixels and shit flying everywhere. I couldn't get through. But you should have been there. It was quite a unique moment in history.
So, do you like my theory? If so, leave a like, subscribe, share this video with your people, and ask your people to share it with their people so everyone can see this crap, so I can get that YouTube money. I'm starting to regret coming to the Highlands, you know, it wasn't a good idea. Stop it.
Visual design. He's an adorable plushie that homages the style of everybody's favourite fox, Tails. The zip on the back allows you to open him up and store all your important items, such as your phone, your lipstick, your daddy's credit card, and the end of the world. You can purchase Tails doll from that one seedy website that your parents tell you not to visit, but you don't want to listen to them because you're all about expression. Personality. He's exceptionally deep when it comes to conversation, and he has successfully learned all available languages as well as created one of his own. He likes to play with his zipper a lot. He's a bit of a pervert. He loves to touch Knuckles' big red butt. Importance. He's the most important character here, man. What, you think this is a game, yeah? You think this is some Sega Saturn video game with a couple of interesting graphical effects? Yeah, is that what you think? You think Tails doll is gonna sit by and be upstaged by Croc or some shit? Legend of the fucking Gobbos? No. No, listen. Listen here, right? The Sonic universe wouldn't exist without Tails doll because he currently owns that universe now. He's eating it. Okay? He's eating it. It's his. Okay? And people are going to chat about this character all day long and make memes out of him. But I think you lot are forgetting just who the hell you're talking about. Yeah? You should think a bit better. You should think a bit clearer. Think before you make your memes, yeah? You should be ashamed of yourselves with your fucking memes. Terrible. Terrible. Such a horrible display from the Sonic community. Horrible display. Shameful display.
Conclusion.
Tails doll is the best character ever.
Fuck. Do you know what? This was a really, really terrible idea. You know, I don't even know, why did I even come to the flipping Highlands to look for a stupid plushie, bro? What the fuck am I doing out here, man? So dumb. So... Oh, I'm actually in someone's garden. Do you want to put the fucking camera down and come and help me?
Can you see the sun is shining on me? It makes me feel so free, so alive.